everybody, it's Clef from Punchboard Paradise, and I'm continuing on with my top 101 board games of all time. And now we've reached the top 20. Now, for many of you, maybe you're watching this video and you already listened to our podcast, Punchboard Paradise, and you're like, Clef, I already know what your top 20 is. I know what your top 25 is. I don't need to watch this anymore. Well, then why are you watching? No, I'm kidding you. But if you don't listen to our podcast, and now you're here to hear my next 10, I've got a great 10 games for you. And I'm super duper excited to go through them and talk a little bit about each one. So, hey, without further ado, let's get going. So my number 20 is going to be the last game in my 20 games that I do not own a copy of. And I need to remedy that at some point because this is a terrific game. Even since, I'll tell you, I've got at least 2 other people that I know that own this game that I can play this game with, at any time. So maybe I don't need to own it because it's not a game that I'm going to get to the table with just, like, say, my wife or my kids or anything. And that is Mr. Phil Eklund, BIOS Origins. Woo! What a game. I mean, the first couple of times I played this game, I was like, what the heck is going on? I don't understand anything. But it took some repeat plays for me to finally go, wow, I really see where the beauty of this game is. It is literally all about kind of starting off as kind of your Neanderthal type of people without much knowledge, and you're trying to get your, I don't know what you want to call them, but kind of your pawns into being where you have free will and know what you're doing, to then start to advanced civilization throughout time, so you're going to, and you have different tracks that you're going to be moving up. You might, you have an immunization track, you have a war track, you have, like a technology track, different things that you're going to do that you're trying to improve. But the uniqueness of the game is that you have 3 different areas that you're going to potentially score in, but there's a potential for one of them to be shut down so that you don't score that at the end of the game, which is just so fascinating. It's such a unique concept of how well he kind of put all this together. You've got the challenge the god phase. You have your different, what do you call those? The different factions that you can be, the different areas. Such a cool game. If you've never tried one of the BIOS games, I tell you this, to me at least, this is the only one that I've truly played fully. I think I did one of the other ones, but didn't really learn it. It makes me want to continue and try to learn more of the BIOS games, but this one for me is such an amazing game, and I love it. And yeah, so that's going to be my number 20, BIOS Origins. So moving in, like I said, from here on out, I have every single one of these games. And this game, a big shout out to one of the Punch Bunch, Adam, who hooked me up. He sold me this game at a real nice price, and I have been just digging this game. And this was a new one that I also found from a fellow podcast called Dad's on a Map, that they talked about this game, and I got to try it, and I was like, boom. And I'm telling you, it is shot up. I love it so much, and that is going to be Santiago. So I'm not even positive 100% off the top of my head how old of a game this, when this came out. Obviously kind of looks definitely an older type of game, but packs a great punch into this game. It is, I want to say there's a lot of negotiation in this game, and that's the part that I love about it. It really is, you're putting out some of these different tiles on the board that have different crops on them, and you're trying to get them watered. And that's the key to the game. When you're taking time, you have the time where you're putting out where the watering stick is going to kind of go to keep your crops watered. And then it's all about, hey, let's go do this together over here. Let's screw them over there. Let's do this over here. So good, so much fun. I love this game, and I look forward to continue to play this more and more. Every time I play this game, I've had a blast. So that's my number 19, Santiago. So my number 18 is another really big, longer game, and it's not my highest block type of a war game that's going to be on my list, but it certainly is the biggest, one that has a lot going on, expanding all over the place. And this is a 3-player only, and this is Triumph and Tragedy. So, okay, you can see right there, European Balance of Power. So, good old 1936 to 1945, obviously also known as World War II. This game is just simply so good. It combines for me the fun of a block war game with a Euro type of mechanic that goes with it. As I said, it's 3-player only. One player will play the Soviet Union. One player will play the kind of the allied factions of the British and the U.S. and France. And then one player will play Germany. And it is so good. All 3 factions are fun to play. It is so well done. It is so well put together. Every time I play this, I love it. The cool part is with the block war game, it also has you're getting cards that then you will use to either get new technologies or potentially kind of negotiate to take over different territories without having to attack them. It's just so well done. I just can't speak highly enough about this one. Fantastic. So if you've been looking for a good 3-player game, really I can only think of one that's that's just a straight 3-player game. But this one is absolutely amazing. Give this one a shot. This is my number 18, Triumph and Tragedy. So my 17 is a game that used to be under a different title, and a company came by and remade it. And that company is good old Capstone Games, one of our favorites, and remade Neue Heimat into the Estates. Okay? So the good old Estates. What can I say about this? Negotiation, auction, backstabbing, temporary alliances. 1 minute you're aligned with this person, next minute we got to screw that person. Let's align over here. So well done, so much fun. One of those games that I just think is perfect. Every game I've ever played of it is perfect. I've never gotten to play the version where you play like 3 times in a row and you have to keep your money through each game, which I really should. I don't know why I've never done that. I know just recently a couple of people did that in a group that was over here, and they said it was awesome. So I really got to try that. But I just absolutely love this game. Such a nice design too. Just everything about this game is great. So that's going to be from Capstone Games, The Estates, my number 17. So my number 16 is the next PAX game on my list. I had PAX Bavariana, which I've gotten to play a couple more times here recently, and is definitely climbing up my list. I'm really enjoying it. It's really a fun game. But this is the game that brought me into the PAX world, and this is second edition. This is designed by Cole Worley, and that is PAX Premier, second edition. So never played the first edition, so I don't know the differences. I have no idea. All I can tell you is this game is amazing. And it only has slipped a little bit from where it probably used to be, I think, in my top 10. Slipped a little bit simply because there's other PAX games that probably going to be on the list a little bit later here. But still, this is a tremendous game. Trying to figure out which alliance to be on, which, you're going to be Afghan, you're going to be Russian, you're going to be British. How can you manipulate enough to basically be on the side that you need to be on to score the most points and, win this game? It's just so good. It's played so well. The design is beautiful. I love the design of this game. And so, yeah, what else can I say about it? Not my top PAX game, but very close. My number 16, PAX Premier. So my number 15 is a small little box. And I mean, this game has brought me some of the biggest laughs I've ever had in gaming life, some of the greatest joys, just so much fun. And this actually, I when started gaming, even when I'm talking about, I was playing Euros and all these things, I had never played a trick taker game, really. just never had been one of those things that was on my radar. And one day, my fellow podcast mate said, hey, this is a great game. We should play it. And I tried it and obviously enjoyed it, continued to play it. And probably over 100 some odd plays later, this is my number one trick-taking game. I will play this with anybody at any time. I absolutely love it. We run a tournament of this game at my convention that we run, and it's been fun the past 2 years that we've done it, and I'm looking forward to doing it again. And that is Skull King. Yeah, right there. So this is the old version. Still near and dear to my heart. I like the art better in the old version. I liked the pirate look, and I liked everything about the version. However, I'm going to tell you, the cards in this are, you may get some sort of disease off of using these cards right now. They're so dirty. So I had to retire it and just keep it kind of as a, just as a long look back at how many times I played it. I now have the new version, which one of the reasons I like the new version, because there's some new stuff they've added, including the Kraken and the Whale. If you're not familiar with those and you've never played with them, they're a lot of fun. They do bring some good differences to the game, which I really enjoy. But no matter what version you have, it's still an amazing game. And if you've never tried the variant that us and the Punch Bunch we all like to play is, well, not all of us. There's a couple out there that want to play by the rules. But if you want to have some fun, get to round 6 and start blind bidding. It's so much fun. You just bid, and then you look at your hand and you go, why did I do that? And then you got to figure it out. It's so much fun. I love this game, and this will forever be, I don't think there will ever be a trick taker that will overtake it, even as much as some of the ones I love that I've learned here lately. This is still going to be my number one Skull King for trick takers. Number 15 on my top 101 games of all time. So number 14, Mr. Alvin Viard. And I first played this game a long time ago when it was still, a good friend of mine, Jake, had the original, made out of the garage box that he had. And since then, the deluxe version has come out, and I absolutely love this game. Another Capstone. All right, another throw out to good old Capstone here, and the redo of the Clinic Deluxe. All right, so yeah. What else can I say about this game besides crunchy fun? That for me, there is a lot going on in this game, and I'm not kidding you. It's a little tough to understand where your buildings can go and how they have to connect and this and that and everything about it. It's a little chunky. It's a little crunchy and hard to kind of grasp at first. But once you kind of grasp it, that part kind of goes away and the fun of the game comes out. And now for me, what I really enjoy is there are umpteen different expansions, what they call extensions for this game. From fire extinguishers to burn victims to, orderlies to all kind of cigarettes. There's all kind of crazy little bitty extensions that you can add, and you can just do 4 or 5 of them at a time. You can do, whatever you want. In fact, there was also a campaign that came out. I played the entire campaign, which was really cool because then it had set things that you had to do, and then you got some stuff for doing things. Such a cool campaign. I really enjoyed it. But that, to me, is where the game shines, is in all of its expansions of using those to enhance and make the game. So every game feels so different. It's like, oh, man, this game, I got to do this. One of the last games I played, I literally scored no points during the game whatsoever. I scored it was like ghosts or whatever, and I had a bunch of ghosts in my hospital, and that scored me a bunch of points. Yeah, I know. Crazy when you're thinking a game called Clinic. But I love it, and it will just always be one of my top games, and I just enjoy it all to pieces. Good old Alvin Viard. Clinic, like I said, if you're interested, I know currently right now Capstone has a production of this, so check it out. All right. My number 13 is, this is a game that I don't know, when I first played it, I loved it. And then I found out, depending on who I'm playing with, it can make the game amazing or it can make the game, and it depends. Which sometimes you would say, well, that's maybe is that a good game? It depends on who to play. Well, for me, it still makes it such an amazing game because even the games are still really good to me, and the amazing games are shoot them off into the stratosphere. I just can't say enough about this game, except for one thing. I'm going to say it's my next Cole Worley game on the list. So we just had good old PAX Premier Second Edition just a little bit ago, and this one's going to be John Company. I mean, so good, so good. The greatness of the negotiation is where this game comes in. And some people will say, well, it's not really a game. You're just kind of going through the motions and then you're rolling some dice and seeing what happens. Well, yes, that is true. But to me, that's true about all board games. I mean, that's what you are doing. But this one, every time, will come with the great negotiation and story that comes along with it. The thing that I will 100% every time I play John Company is you have a story at the end of the game. Like, I had a game where I literally was the only one trying to save the company, and I was literally one voting card away from, at the end of the game, from being, I was going to win the game, and a card came up and totally tanked the company, and the company went bust at, like, the last second. And it was such a great story, and it was like, everybody hooping and hollering. I had a game where a good friend of ours, Mookie, he was just giving money away like it was no big deal. Somebody would be like, hey, I need $1 for this. He'd be like, okay. And then they would give him something back, and he just ran away with the game. And it was so funny, and it was so much fun. Every time you play this game, there is a story. And I think that's where I enjoy this game so much, that sometimes you don't get out of some board games. It's like, okay, I scored more points than I won. Not that I'm saying they're bad games. That just was what makes this game so enjoyable for me, are the stories, the negotiation, the backstabbing. Oh, it's so much fun. So cannot speak highly enough about John Company. All right, so that was my number 13. My number 12 is another Splotter. I told you guys, every Splotter is on my list. So if you're figuring out, there's, I think, probably 2 left. And this one's going to be the next one. And I've said, and if you're wondering, like, I want to just see how he ranks the Splotters, I do have a video out that just ranks my Splotters. And currently right now, this one is my number 2 Splotter of all time. But I've said to people, I think that this could eventually move into my number 1 Splotter. And some people are like, it's too much bookwork, which, I mean, sometimes Splotters in general, people say are too much bookwork. But I love the aspect of, and I think part of it is I'm not very good at this game, and I want to be better at it. But trying to figure out the most important thing in this game, and I'm just going to say the game, because I'm sitting here talking about it, is Indonesia. And the thing that is so cool about this game is the mergers. And for anybody who've ever played this game, you're going to be like, absolutely. If you've never played this game, you're going to be, what's a merger? It's literally where you're going to take, there's different companies that people have. There's shipping companies, and then there's different, like, rice and spice and different companies like that. And in the merger, you literally can take and merge, like, I'll merge your shipping company together with my shipping company. And then now there's an auction to see who takes over that new combined company. And anybody can win it. And I don't even have to use my own. I could say I'm going to combine, player A's shipping company with player B's shipping company. And boom, both of those. And now they're up for auction. And me being player C, I can still win that auction. It's just ingenious. It's such a neat thing. It's that part of the game is so simplistic of what it is, but then how much do you pay for those companies? Because if my shipping company is part of the companies that are getting shipped or getting combined, and somebody else wins it, I'm going to get a piece of that profit. So then I'm going to get the money, and most money at the end of the game wins. So it's always how much money do I want to try to pay for this? Is it going to make me more money than the amount of money that I have to pay out? So good, so well planned out. yes, I will agree. Probably 75% of the game itself that it came with, I have upgraded. I've gotten to play on a giant map that was made that was just so much fun. Yes, a lot of people upgrade a lot of the stuff in this game, but still so worth it. I love it, and that's going to be my number 12, Indonesia. So that brings us to number 11, which will be my highest block war game. And this is a block war game. It's not, for those of you familiar maybe with like the Columbia block war games I talked earlier about Julius Caesar, where it's more of rolling dice. This one, you don't have any dice. This one, it's all about card play. And this is in good old, the unification of Japan, Sakagahara. God, I love this game. This is a 2-player game only. Like I said, it's a block war game. But it's a block war game driven with cards. And what's so cool is you're going to have your hand of cards that have the different factions on there. And when I go into battle, I have to use a card to activate a block. So you might see like this force of, 7, 8, 9 blocks or something. And you think, oh my goodness, that's a huge force. But maybe your opponent can only activate 2 or 3 of the blocks that are in there, where you might only have a force of like say 4 or 5 blocks, but you can activate every one of yours because you have the cards. And there's a cat and mouse in there of like, ooh, should I attack there? Oh, what if they do have it? They could destroy me. Oh, I might be able to, just that back and forth thought process of the cards. So well done. There's like a treachery card that you can play to make an opponent have to ship their piece over to your side of the battle. So cool, so good, and it's beautiful. The map is gorgeous. I just can't say enough about this game. I absolutely love it. So that is my number 11, Sakagahara. Okay, well, we've come to the end of another of my 10. So upcoming next, my top 10 games of all time. So excited to bring it to you guys. Should be great. Once again, though, if you have any questions whatsoever, throw them in the comments. I would love to get back to you, answer anything I can on any of the games that I talked about. Also, if you could, please go ahead and hit that like and subscribe. It really helps everything, helps the channel out. And other than that, that's it. I'm going to be back real soon with that top 10. All right, everybody. Have a good one.